Yes, good morning, everyone. In the introduction, what are you supposed to do? Many of the students sitting in front of me, and I'm using their example. Hopefully, that will help you correct your mistakes also. Many of the students in the introduction itself start discussing a lot of theory. On a very plain, simple psychological level, if you start discussing theory in the introduction, your essay starts looking very, what should I say, very monotonous, very boring. The focus of the introduction is to capture the other person's attention, is to generate interest in your essay. So the theory, please save for later. All right, in the introduction, as directly as you can, talk about something that is related to the topic, that reinforces your perspective on the topic. Similarly, I'm specifying over here, this is not a body paragraph, this is body paragraph number 1. In body paragraph number 1, what do you do? Immediately after the introduction, what do? You focus on the theory. What are you trying to do here? You are trying to explain either the context, or you're trying to explain the correlation between the different terms. For example, if I say women are the only victims who are treated as the accused, just because I'm using the word victim does not mean I'm only talking about a crime. For example, if I have and that's why I say read your handout from the first to the last page carefully. For example, if I say that there's a woman who's working, she wants to continue working, but in between she experiences a pregnancy. During or after a pregnancy, after the child is born, should she be expected to sacrifice her job? And let's say she worked very hard. The same example I was giving you, if there's a doctor working in a western state of India who has to relocate to the eastern state just because her husband lives there, is that fair? And if the woman complains about it, there's a high probability that not the husband but the woman will be questioned, the woman will be criticized. The victim, why I say the victim? Because she's being asked to sacrifice the job. It's not only about a crime. The victim has become the accused. How dare you demand rights? How dare you demand that you should be allowed to continue with your occupation, with your profession? That correlation is what you explain in body paragraph number 1. Let me put this in a slightly different manner. What exactly do you do over here? In the introduction, what content could you have used to show how women become the accused instead of being seen as victims? Simple example you could have given was the Goa polygamy law. How is a woman a victim over here? The woman is a victim because if she's not able to bear a child or a male child by the age of 25 or 30, her husband is allowed by law, legally allowed, to get married to someone else. Ideally, she should be considered as a victim, but she is treated as an accused. How is she the accused? That it is your fault. By the age of 25, why did you not have a child? By the age of 30 also, why were you not able to produce a male child? She is now being accused. You could have talked about this very commonly, and the very long example that is given over there is the example of Devdasis in India. Devdasis are victims, but they are accused. Victims of what? Victims of the failure of the state, victims of the failure of society, victims of poverty, victims of lack of education, lack of literacy, lack of financial opportunities, and so on. But they're treated as the accused. How are they treated as the accused? We're not saying that you've committed any crime, but we are saying that you are, for example, when we use the word, I'm very reluctant to use the word prostitutes. When we use that word, it is very derogatory, it is very demeaning, and I'm looking down upon them. You could have talked about the fact that housework very often is a barrier to education. You could have talked about in fact, this many students have already written. You could have talked even about the Texas abortion law, in which when we prohibit abortions after a period of 6 weeks, if a woman says that she's facing complications or it is an unwanted pregnancy, the woman will be treated as an accused because she's trying to overrule the provisions of the law. More importantly, how do you write this down? To write this down, I'll come to the body paragraph in a minute. Let me first take a look at this. How do you write this down? To write this down, for example, you say in May 2021, and this is okay. Let me just use my pen also. In this case, or in this paragraph, what am I doing? So far, till here, I am just writing one example down. After that, I'm giving very briefly my perspective on that example, and then I'm concluding with the topic as the last sentence. By the way, someone or the other will ask me later, are these 3 paragraphs? No, this is just one. I have put it in this manner because it is visually easy to read. Otherwise, if I was writing this on paper, this would be just one paragraph. These are not three, this is one paragraph. What example am I taking here? Tarun Tejpal being acquitted of rape charges. After that, briefly, and build it up. Briefly, you say that this happened despite his written admission that he had made these kind of advances on the victim, despite the fact that she had clearly expressed her disinterest. More importantly, you say, or you say a slightly better word, shockingly, surprisingly, tragically, disappointingly, the judgment included details of the victim's WhatsApp messages, her emails to people, her past relationships, and even the dress that she was wearing at the time of the incident. This clearly indicates that the judgment was biased because of preconceived notions regarding how a rape victim should behave. What is the behavior that is expected? And this is a reminder as to why women are reluctant to go to the police or the courts for justice. Because when they do that, they end up being put on trial themselves. Because women are the only victims who are often treated as the accused. What have I done? Reinforce my, so far what did I do? No theory at all. I'm just giving you one example, little bit of an understanding, concluding with the topic as the last sentence. And my introduction is done. Similarly, yes. That is what someone has asked me here also online. Can I write this sentence right on top? This last sentence, do I have to write it in the end? There is Dhruv Anand, I think you've asked the same question. Should I write it at the end or can I also write it in the beginning? You can also write it in the beginning. However, even if you write it in the beginning and then explain it, it's the same thing. However, this is India. Since this is India, I will tell you that in India, the evaluation of your answer scripts is not done with the kind of attention that you deserve. If you write this in the beginning, the examiner may not understand what you're trying to convey, may believe that you're not a very good candidate, may not give you the marks, may immediately form a negative perception regarding your ability. So it is always better that you start with an example which generates interest, which generates surprise, which generates curiosity in what you're writing, and reinforce that by writing it at the end. If you look at it structurally, you can write it in the beginning, in the end, it doesn't really matter. Ideally, to get marks in this exam, write it at the end. It would be better, safer. For example, if I say that we should promote greater education for women, gender sensitivity in the police force, provide financial literacy, this is theoretical. But if I say, how do you provide greater security for women? You say Janani Suraksha. That is an example. So here use an example, not theory. This is your introduction, but we also need body paragraph number 1. Body paragraph number 1, what do? Body paragraph number 1, you're expected to explain the context or the correlation between the terms. Now, in this case, what do? You should say, and this is your basic understanding, that women, now this is my checklist. This is not what I'm writing. This is my checklist for my understanding. Women have many problems. Women also have many duties. If they try to overcome these problems, if they try to do justice to these duties, they face even more problems. And when the second set of problems are not addressed, this is when women are questioned, women are criticized, or women are treated as the accused. This is my understanding of the topic, but my understanding has to be different as compared to what I convey in my essay. In my essay, now I know that if I leave it here and I finish the class right now, most students will not understand what this means. This is what I understood of the topic. Now I write it down in a manner that is easy and simple to understand. How do I write it down? To write it down, I put it in this manner. I say that women face many struggles on a daily basis. What are your struggles? First, I have to show that you are victims, ranging from access to food and education. Not only food and education, they are also discriminated by society and the state. And very frequently, they even become the victims of brutal violence or very violent crimes. However, when a woman tries to fight against these kind of problems, tries to fight against these kind of troubles, instead of being supported, she is questioned and criticized. How is she questioned and criticized? Now, when I use the word victim, it does not mean I'm only talking about crimes. There could be many other dimensions. For example, and see, this is what you will understand once you read your handout completely. Once you remember all the dimensions that are given, and this is what you will understand how to express when you practice writing. For example, in one small sentence, we say that a girl who wants to school will be taunted for ignoring household work. A pregnant woman who wants to work from house will be teased for demanding comforts. That all the men are going to work during the pandemic, also we're going to work. Then why is it that you want to work from home? Just because you're expecting a child or just because you delivered a child? No, because delivering a child comes with many responsibilities. It comes with a lot of physical, comes with a lot of emotional, comes with a lot of psychological burden on the woman. A man who's healthy, who eats well, who exercises, who has a normal life, may never have to see a hospital till he's about 50 years of age. A woman, on the other hand, much earlier at the age of 20, 25, 30, may go to hospital at least when she is expecting a child. So men may not be able to empathize or completely understand the extent of the medical issues that women will face. Another part, that a rape victim who seeks justice is made to repeatedly relive the trauma of the crime inside the courtroom, inside the police station also. Why? Because women are perhaps the only victims who are treated as the accused, and that's done. What have I explained to you? That this kind of treatment does not exist only inside a courtroom, does not happen only with regard to crimes. It happens when I seek access to education, happens when I seek access. India is a country where the woman eats last. If a family is sitting down for a meal, whoever is the woman of the household usually eats last. The question is why? She should eat when she's feeling hungry. She should eat when the food is warm. But she's supposed to make the food. She's supposed to serve the food. And if one day she sits down first to eat, forget the rest of the people. Her own children will ask her that we've not started eating. Why are you eating? But that is not what is expected of a mother. Every human being is more or less the same. What are you doing? You're treating the victim as the accused. Now, when you people were writing, what have you done? Many students have used this part over here. They've written the last sentence and they've used this part of rape victims, that in India there is victim shaming, that in India women are made to, they've used the same sentence directly, that they're made to relive the trauma. You are absolutely right. There's nothing wrong in what you're saying. But here, what you've written is it's a very narrow perspective on the topic. You could have talked about employment. You could have talked about equal pay. You could have talked about political rights. We've not discussed politics because I'm sure you've done it already in polity, state funding of elections, crowdfunding, Remia Haridas, all of this is given in your handout. You could have talked about that if women demand more reservation, the CJI of India is a man. He says that women should demand 50% reservation in the judiciary. So people listen to him. But if a woman had gotten up and said the same thing, many people would have said that we've already given you reservation in politics. What more do you want? And why do we say that they are the victim over here? Over here, because they're terribly underrepresented. What percentage of parliamentarians in India are women? 14%. 1/4 in the current Lok Sabha, 14%. One of the lowest figures in the world, which is why most of our legislations are not gender sensitive. Many of our legislations have been pending for a very long period of time. Why? Because the urgency, the sensitivity is missing. There are many dimensions you could have mentioned. And in the body paragraph, first body paragraph, the more such dimensions that are mentioned here, the better is your understanding and how you convey that understanding to the examiner. This does everyone follow?